This woman wants to know the truth about her internet boyfriend.
He's a good-looking man, businessman, travels the world.
After losing her husband of 29 years, Lavelle turned to online dating to find romance.
And then I met this guy, and he just seems so different than everybody else.
Eeryt was the man of her dreams, handsome, business savvy, and supportive. And he was about to become filthy rich.
And we just went out there to check out the investment and everything is in there.
Is Eeryt Lavelle's Mr. Right, or just another romance scammer? Real quick, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your comment and like could help stop someone from being scammed. Let's get into it.
My name is Lavelle. I live in Las Vegas. I am retired. I've been retired about 7 years. I live in a retirement community. One of the things I like to do is stained glass. Worked in the healthcare industry. Mainly I've worked in offices. Been married several times. None of my marriages were happy, unfortunately.
Dang.
My last husband died about 8 years ago. And we were married 29 years. After he died, I moved back here because my family's all on the West Coast. I have 3 sons, 2 are twins. I have my sons, lives with me right now. Well, originally, I didn't ever think I'd want anybody in my life because I was very unhappily married. And I thought, I'm free. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to have a man in my life. But after about 3 or 4 years, I thought, you know what? It would be kind of nice to have somebody in my life. And so I did go online, went fishing. Went out on a lot of dates, but none of them were more than one date. We didn't like each other for whatever reason.
Hey, I heard it's a lot of catfishes on POF. I remember that was one of the apps in high school. That app was like just getting popular when I was graduating high school. Or it just came out when I was graduating high school. You got to be careful with these online dating apps.
Usually me. I didn't like them. Ran into lots and lots of scammers online, that's for sure. And then I met this guy 2 years ago, and he just seems so different than everybody else. He's supposedly about 5'7", and he has gray hair, really short gray hair. He wears glasses. He looks like a businessman. He travels the world, does projects. He's a good-looking man. He wears a wedding ring, but he told me he wears it because, women pursue him. He didn't want that. He's always concerned about my health. He's just different in so many ways. I can't explain it. He supposedly lived here in Vegas, downtown by the Strip. He's originally from Germany. I'm German, so that was interesting. He's really good at texting. He likes to text. He's pretty verbal. But on the phone, he doesn't say a lot. Most of the time, he just sits and listens to me. And he does listen. He's a good listener. He has an accent. I don't think it's a German accent, though, but I can't really place what it is exactly. We talked on the phone quite a bit. My rule at that point was, you have to meet me, you have to video chat with me, and he agreed to that. And so we decided to meet, and we were going to meet at this particular restaurant at a certain time. I was in the car waiting. I arrived at the restaurant before he did, and so I was waiting for him to come, and I got him on the phone, and he said, I'm leaving now. I'm really sorry I'm running late, but I'm leaving now. And so while he was talking to me, he was like on his GPS, and he said, I'm turning on this street and I'm turning left on that street. And so we kept talking, and he kept telling me he was on his way. It wasn't really that far from the Strip. All of a sudden he was quiet. And it's like, what happened? And when he came back on, oh my God, I was just rear-ended by somebody, and they pushed me in the car in front of me. And anyways, I'll have to talk to you later. So I ended up going home. Later on, he did contact me, and he said he was home. His car was totaled. He actually sent me a picture of his car later.
While Eeryt was recovering from a car accident, his fortunes began to look up. He had acquired a lucrative lumber contract with the Hawaiian government in the highland of Kauai.
He supposedly got a contract to go to Hawaii. His job was to cut down rosewood trees up in the forest. They're very expensive trees, worth a lot of money, and he had a contract with the Hawaiian government. He said he was in the Kauai Highlands. 65 people. He was going to set up tents and things, places for them to go to the bathroom. You have to feed them, and he rented buses to take them back and forth every day from their work to the woods. He asked me to send him some laptops. He didn't take one with him, and his one he had was old, and he was supposedly a 3-hour drive from his motel to the woods.
Did you just ask this woman to send you some laptops? Not a laptop, but laptops with an S. Like, bro, what? Are y'all even in a relationship? Something is kind of tricky about what's going on right now. Let's keep watching.
He needed to communicate with the people in the woods. So I sent him 2 laptops.
Lavelle had shown her support for Garrett by sending him 2 brand new laptops, and the 2 were about to receive some life-changing news when Garrett found out he was the heir to a fortune worth millions.
One day texted me and said his auntie said that his father had left him some gold, and she had turned it over to this attorney to handle it for him, and wanted to know if I would be kind enough to help him handle it while he was in Hawaii, because he had very bad internet connection.
Lavelle had been given executorship of Garrett's inheritance and quickly began to put the details in place. She wanted to lay her own eyes on the gold, so she requested a video from the estate's lawyer.
Yeah, this is today's 1st of March, and we just went out there to check out the investment and everything is intact. So Lavelle and Gary Kaufman, this is your investment. Thank you.
Lavelle was now caught up in a whirlwind, and once the lawyers got involved was when the real work began.
And all of a sudden, we're dealing with attorneys, these attorneys that live in England. I always talked to his secretary named Karen Marlene. All of a sudden, I realized that, they're sending me these bills, paperwork that looked official, that everything is put in my name now. I had this big fancy code I had to use. There was a bill for the attorney, like $60,000. There was an invoice for the company that had been holding it supposedly for like 13 years in storage, and that was like under $100,000. But then the next big bill was $300,000 from the shipping company, because gold's heavy. So I tried to pay those bills, and as far as I know, at least this is the way it was set up, he had nothing to do with this part of it. He would just ask me questions, how's it going? In fact, I tried to get him to talk to him a couple of times, and he refused to. When it came to the 300,
Come on now. It is not this woman's responsibility to talk to these attorneys or these lawyers about the fees that you owe. It's your responsibility. You just met this woman online, and you already telling her to do all this stuff for you like y'all married. This the type of stuff you do when you married, not when you just talking to somebody or somebody you just met online. This is crazy.
$1,000 bill. I couldn't pay it. I just couldn't. I used all my money by then. So I said, hey, if you got all the gold there, why don't you just sell some of the gold? After all, it's worth a lot of money. Finally, they agreed to do it. I had to sign some more paperwork to release, I think, 5 or 6 gold bars. And he was going to find a buyer. And supposedly he found a buyer in Canada. I had to pay for, the paperwork to be finished. I had to pay then another $5,000 to have the gold sent to Canada. They finally came back and said, well, what happened was when we sent the gold to the buyer, he melted it down because he wanted to know what the quality of it was. And when he did, he found this 20-carat raw ruby that happened to be in there. And the ruby's supposedly worth $20 million, and the gold was worth $10 million. So he set up with this bank, and he showed me the paperwork, and it was $34 million. And then I could just transfer it out to my local account as I wanted it. And he was all excited, and I said, what are you doing? He's like, packing my stuff up. I'm packing everything up. I'm going to be there. We were all excited. It's been about a year. We finally got this far. We finally get the gold. I made sure that the money was in the account. So I tried to then transfer some of the money. I think a couple $100,000. It was $300,000, wasn't very much, but it wouldn't go through. So when I got a hold of the guy at the bank I was dealing with, and he said, let me check on it, see what's going on. So finally he came back and says, well, what it is, it's the IRS. They put a hold on your account until you pay the taxes on it. Dang. So then I get this bill for like $300,000 for $307. So it's almost $300,000 for taxes. I said, why can't I just pay the taxes out of the account? That doesn't make sense to me. They know it's there. Why can't I? No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Finally, they said, possibly if you pay this $38,100 by this deadline, that they'll at least unlock the account so that you can pay them. Otherwise, I'd have to pay them before it was unlocked. I said, there's no way I can pay them $300,000 if it's not unlocked. I ended up paying them $38,100. And then this was right around the end of December. It was Christmas, the New Year's, trying to get money out of my account, trying to get it to me, trying to get it to the bank, trying to get it to them. By the time I did, of course, I missed the deadline. So they...
Whoa. Usually it's the men that's doing this kind of stuff. But this woman is dealing with a lot of money, and she coming out of pocket to put up what this man is doing. I don't think this man is real. This is a scam, and she getting finessed right now.
The money, but I couldn't still unlock the account. Total, I mean, when it's all said and done, I'm saying 150,000. All my accounts were, way over the limit. All my accounts were closed. I tried to make the payments and I tried to keep it up, I couldn't. And that's when I found out that the bank name they were using was very similar to a bank that was legitimate, just a little bit off. And so the bank didn't really even exist. So at that point, I contacted the attorney's office again, because at this point I hadn't had a contact with him for quite a while. And I said, you've been working with me almost a year. I'm not asking you to do anything about it. I just want you to know that, I never got the gold. God, it goes on and on. I finally told Eeryt, this is ridiculous. When I told him, he got really upset with me. He said, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you? I said, I did tell you. I'm just telling you now. But you didn't tell me before. You're my wife and you should be telling me these things. Shouldn't be any secrets between us. I go, wait a minute. I mean, some of the stories sound, believable, but other ones are just unbelievable. I didn't hear from him for about a week or so. And come to find out, he said he was in a hospital. He told me that he's, doesn't feel good and doesn't have any money. He's starving. I said, well, you told me you're starving a month ago. And so you should have been dead by now. I said, I'm not saying anything. He says, do you think I'm a scammer? I go, I do. Why wouldn't I? I've given you every opportunity to prove to me who you are, by photo, by this, by that, and you just won't. That's just not right, He said, but I am who I am. I meant everything I said to you. As far as he's concerned, we both got scammed. That's, So I cut him off. You'd think I would know better because there were some red signs all along, but he was just so different. And I just felt, to me, that I finally met my true love, that finally, I'd be happy for the rest of my life.
All right, Seekers, we had to get to the bottom of this. We had photos of Eeryt, the inheritance paperwork, the shipping invoices, and records from Eeryt's phone bill, which Lavelle was paying for. Stick around until the end. We'll find out if Eeryt was actually about to be filthy rich or just another filthy liar. Real quick, guys, if you found yourself in a similar situation to Lavelle and you want to know the truth about the person that you've been communicating with online, reach out to our email, sharemystory@socialcatfish.com. We can find these answers that you're looking for.
Hi, Lavelle. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Lavelle. So, Lavelle, what's the reason that you reached out to us?
To find out the person I've been communicating with for over 2 years is really who he says he is. I sort of had doubts recently. What brought it to a head was I bought him a phone and I put him on my account. It just showed calls to random people that I'd called and couldn't get anything from them. The second month, they were all calls to me. And the third month, it had a mixture of calls in it, mostly to me, but there was one from Mississippi that I called, and it was a gal that found out he'd been talking to her about the same time he'd been talking to me. He just will not change his mind that it's not him. Something else is going on. Those pictures are him. Everything he's told me is true. And he knows that I'm doing this too, by the way.
So he knows that you're here talking with us.
Yes. He tells me I'm ruining our relationship. Oh, no, he told me I'm embarrassing him. Why would I be embarrassing you? If you're telling me the truth, it should be good. But I said, you have forced me to do this because you won't do anything I've asked you to do to prove who you are.
With having all of these doubts about Eeryt, what exactly is kind of tying you to him or driving you back to him every time? Is it the fact that you love him and you want to meet him?
Thought I was in love with him. I was falling in love with him. He's a wonderful, charming man. He's very different than anybody I've ever talked to. He's talked about marrying me, coming back here and buying a beautiful home, traveling together. My whole future was him.
Hey, actions speak louder than words. Y'all was supposed to meet up in Vegas, and then all of a sudden he talking about, I got in a car accident. Man, if you don't get out of here with that nonsense, you didn't get in no car accident. You was not showing up from the beginning. And you scamming this woman. She said she spent over $150,000 on this man. If it even is a man.
And it's hard to give that up.
So it doesn't have anything with the large amount of gold you're going to get?
No, I never expected to get it. But it had to do with the fact that he told me he was going to pay me back once he got everything situated. And You know, it was a lot of money to that amount. So that was, I guess, kind of in the back of my mind, hoping that, you know, I would get that money back, and he was telling me the truth. I mean, some of the things that I question is just the time thing. I think is the main thing. It's because if he's in Ghana, he doesn't even seem to know how to spell Ghana when we talk about it. But it's just that he's supposedly in Hawaii, and the time difference, and how often I talk to him, and the weather and everything just seems to line up with that. If he was in Ghana, it would be way off, you know.
We have a lot to show you, and we have a lot to go over.
The image that you just sent us, you mentioned this is Garrett's Mustang, his car. Give us a little backstory on why he sent you this picture.
We were supposed to meet at a local restaurant, and I got there before he did, and he didn't show up at the time he was supposed to. So I went back outside and got in my car and called him, and I said, "Where are you?" And he's, I'm coming, I'm really sorry. I got, you know, delayed, but I'm on my way." And while he was talking to me, he got really quiet. So I just went home. And when I asked him later what happened, he said, "I just got in a car accident. Somebody rear-ended me." And that picture was to prove that he was in the accident.
It's interesting, LaBelle, because we looked at the image and we noticed that there was a logo on the corner of the image. And so we looked into that logo. We found that it belonged to a car auction website.
Okay. Interesting.
So that definitely doesn't connect with the story that Garrett's giving on when he sent you this picture.
Why would it have this logo in the bottom right-hand corner?
Good question.
So, LaBelle, it seems like you've been through a lot with Eeryt, especially in regard to these gold bars.
Why do you have so much trust in someone you've never met, though?
I didn't know what I was getting into, or I would never have done it. And that's why I said, I don't understand why you're doing this. I mean, this is a lot of money. This is like, you know, why would you don't even know me. And he said, because that's how much I trust you. I believe in you.
So you'd also received a contract for this gold, correct?
But then what I understand what the paperwork was, it's just that it was put in my name, you know, so legally it was mine.
So this document, I've seen this document so many times. So many times.
It's used all the time by romance scammers, primarily Nigerian romance scammers.
Right. I did take it to a tax attorney, and he immediately told me it was a scam. And I don't know why I didn't believe him. But
when he was telling you that this is fake, what was your response to him, and what were you thinking?
I don't know. I guess I didn't want to believe him.
He's sending all these Google images. You know that the contracts are fake. You've gone to third parties. I'm sure your family has told you that it's fake. In your mind, you know it's fake. What's the difference between the information that we're delivering you and everyone else's information that they've been telling you?
Because you're going to have real proof. real. Well, I mean, I guess I had it all along,
But why us, though?
Because you're the experts. I guess it's because you want it to be true. You know, I just want it to be true. And personally, I wasn't really sending him. I mean, I did send him a laptop. I did send him a phone, and I sent him money here and there, like $200. But I really never gave him personally that much money.
So, LaBelle, you sent over 2 different passports, correct?
Both they both were Garrett's passport. He just changed this different picture on the one that he sent to that gal.
Well, why did he use 2 different pictures?
I don't know. I asked him about it too, but he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He doesn't even know Libby. I said, well, that's kind of hard to deny since this came from your phone.
So there's a picture of him holding it with his finger. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
What did you think of that picture?
I thought it was real.
We ran a reverse image search on that passport picture where he's holding it with one finger. We were actually able to find the exact match for that image. In the original image, he is not holding a passport. So the passport has been photoshopped in between his fingers. You got him a cell phone, correct? And you sent this to him?
Yes.
Where did you send it to?
Florida was the last time I sent it to him. I think she would never let me send him anything directly.
Have you ever thought about calling your service provider and asking where the phone is?
Because I have international calling, it showed that he was in Ghana. It's interesting because every time he wrote back about Ghana, he never spelled it right.
All of those things are to confuse you.
We listened back to the video, the recording of his voice with the.
But that wasn't him.
Whoever is talking in that video has your money.
Yeah.
And we just went out there to check out the investment and everything is intact.
Oh, maybe. Sounded like somebody from
Ghana.
No, I thought so from maybe England. I don't know. I know
England.
everything seemed like everybody I was sending money to was black. I had questioned that too, you know.
Yeah, this woman seemed like she was just desperate for love after her husband had passed away. She just wanted to find love, and she ended up dealing with this man right here. And it turned out he's a scammer. And it's not really the man in the picture. It's some guy from Ghana. All these red flags. You mean to tell me nothing struck a chord in your brain like, you know what? Maybe I'm doing a little bit too much. You sent this man over $150,000. You don't send nobody that you never met in person that much money. Matter of fact, you don't send somebody that much money and y'all not even married. I don't care if y'all dating. You don't send that much money. You never met this person. That's ridiculous.
So the fact that you're paying for this phone, you're turning this phone on for him to use, and they're able to link the calls internationally to Ghana, it tells you these are the people he's talking to. These are the people he's conversing with. They're in Ghana. He's taken your money. He hasn't returned any of your money.
Not going to.
Talks to you at night and in the morning, because I believe Ghana is 7 hours ahead of us. He has you doing all the dirty work for him. He has you buying him phones. He has you paying for the phones. He has you sending money to people you don't know, or sending money to him. And, you know, he hasn't provided you with anything. He's actually put you in a really tough situation. And so he's a con artist. He's used to hiding behind these fake profiles. He's what we call a coward.
Are you ready to hear who this man in these images is?
I am.
The real man in that image, his name is. His images have been stolen and used in hundreds of.
I saw them all over with different names on them, yeah.
So, Lavelle, I'm sorry to say, this is a romance scam. You and Garrett were not scammed. You were just scammed. All of these characters that they created in these stories, including Garrett, they're all fake people. They were all created for you to send money.
I think he just probably was afraid I was breaking up with him or something.
Are you breaking up with him?
Yes. For sure.
How are you feeling?
Bad. Relieved.
Sorry, Lavelle.
What are you most upset about?
The money. What bothers me is I took my reserve, you know, my retirement that was in a reserve and an annuity and stuff like that. That's gone. And with the stock market being as well as doing now, I would be making money right now.
When is the last time you sent money?
Well, actually, not too long ago. I sent him some money. I sent him a couple $100 3 or 4 weeks ago, actually.
These gold bars, they do not exist.
They're not coming. They don't exist, right?
They're not. You're done sending money, right?
I'm done. Yes.
How do you feel about where you're going to go next?
I feel good because now I know and I can cut them off and go on with my life somehow, you know? I mean, obviously wiser, hopefully, you know.
Typically in romance scams, we do suggest that you move forward with filing a police report with your local law enforcement. It's not to say that anything can be done for you right in the moment, but at least we have that report, and then you can move on and file a report with the FBI as well through their ic3.gov website.
Okay.
Although Lavelle didn't find her Mr. Right this time, she did seem to take in the information very well. She has promised to block Eeryt and only date in person, and also never to send any more money to anyone she has never met online. We want to give a special thanks to this week's new memberships. Your support helps spread the word and can help prevent someone else from getting scammed.
Man, another person scammed. But this time, it's a woman, an older woman at that. This is just the time we in where getting scammed is happening more often than not. And when you first come across the beginning stages of these red flags, you got to pick up on them quick. You can't ignore them. You can't put them in the back burner. As soon as the first red flag comes up, you have to act on it quickly. It's no way in heck should you be paying $150,000 or over $150,000 for somebody that you met online. I could never in my life pay that much money to a woman that I met online and I never met her in person. We gotta at least video chat so I can see that you real, but I'm still not gonna send you money. Talking on the phone ain't good enough, especially the time we in, where people getting AI voices and all that. And not too long after the video chat, we gotta meet up in person. That's really the only way you can figure out if a person is real or fake. Even with the video chat, I'ma backtrack to the video chatting. There's ways of you getting catfished with the video chatting. Somebody could put on like a black hoodie in the dark and run an AI voice and you thinking they real. So you have to make sure you meet this person face to face before you even think about sending them money. We in a new day and age where you can get scammed like this. That artificial intelligence is very dangerous and it's only gonna get more advanced. So you gotta be careful when you on these dating apps and you start catching feelings for a person and then you start sending them money. This technology is just too advanced. You have to meet face to face. But that's all I got for you guys, and make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm gone. Peace.